Okay, slides are up. Um, Hello. Hi, everyone. I'm not stressed at all. I'm not nervous at all going after so many nice people. I just suddenly have to pee so much. But it's okay. It's very amazing to be here. I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited for lunch soon. Yes, today I'll talk about micro-frontends. I'll talk about the usefulness. I'll talk about the different kinds, structure-wise and architecture-wise. I'll try to show some examples of them. And I'll try to make some code with a focus on try with that. Yes. But before that, please watch me go on the other side of the stage. Thank you. I'm here. Let me introduce myself. My name is Reza. I'm from Amsterdam. I'm a software engineer with a focus on front-end and web. I work at Funda in Amsterdam, which is the biggest real estate platform there. I also very recently joined the team of Vue School to help with the certification program about Nuxt, together with close collaboration with good people like Daniel Rowe, Sebastian Chopin. But you're not here to learn about me, so let's talk front-end. Micro-frontends. What are they? Breaking down large monolithic applications into smaller, manageable, and maybe kind of independent apps. Apps maybe also otherwise known as verticals. But how does this breaking down happen, or what do you break down your application into? You can think of different domains that you have inside your projects, like for example, you have a very specific domain for search or for account area or something. You can think about some very specific reusable components, like for example, if you have a save button or a login button or something very reusable. You can think about different BFFs, you have different databases, you have a lot of different ways that you can break down your application into. Let's look at an example. In the context of micro-frontends, you can think of some very good examples, like for example, Amazon, which is a pioneer in micro-frontends actually. You can think about Spotify, you can think about Netflix. But back home in Amsterdam, I work at Funda, like I said, it's a big real estate platform. We use micro-frontends in a lot of different ways. So Funda started in 2001, and now 20-something years later, it has grown a lot in the number of pages, in content, in features, in services, in a lot of things. And of course, naturally, with time, project grows. It becomes harder to maintain, harder to fix something if something goes wrong, to debug something. If you want to deploy, well, for us at least the case was, if you wanted to deploy something to production, like a fix or something, it might take 2 hours to deploy. And that's in case everything goes right, like no test break or something. Now imagine that happens, it takes another 2 hours or something to fix that. So some time ago, it made sense for us to break down our application into some micro-frontends, some of which you actually see here, and you might notice that the boundary, or each of these is a separate Nuxt app, by the way. The context of each is the domain of each is the route. Like for example, we have the search page, which is there's a search app representing that. We have a detail page. So now each of these, like I said, is an isolated Nuxt app. Tests are very specific. Domains are decoupled from each other. Building and deploying something takes maybe only a few minutes, which is very good. So it saves us a lot of time and a lot of money. But now you might be thinking with yourselves, with some of the examples that you have for yourselves with your projects, how does this breaking down happen? Or if you're new to micro-frontends, you might think, what do I break down my project into? So let's get into that. Yeah. Micro-frontends can be structured in many different ways, and it depends on many different factors. For example, depending on how you define your teams and how your organization is formed, depending on the scalability needs and plans for the future and your roadmaps and where you want to go to. Also, depending on your technology choices. Maybe you have some teams that are more flexible with Vue. Maybe you have some legacy projects, some teams that work more with React or Angular. There are different ways, different structures of micro-frontends that support you to have different technology choices that you have. In other ways, I want to break it down in different ways. You can think of two styles of structures. You can think about monorepos and multi-repos. And once you think about in your organization or for your needs, which repository or which structure makes more sense, then you can think about from these multiple applications that you made, how do you want to integrate them together to build your whole platform for the user that they see? So once you choose your architecture, you can think about when you choose your structure, you can think about the architecture with which you build your platform and you write your code. I talked about a bunch of different names, a bunch of different options. There are too many options. So I want to get into detail to make it a bit more clear. Let's start with a very simple, kind of flat monorepo structure. You know, monorepos, which I like them very much, are very good for smaller teams, for teams that are very integrated together. Everything is inside one repository, so code sharing is very easy and very frequent. It happens a lot. And there is usually centralized control over your dependencies, which is also very good. And so like I said, code base is one repository. It's a single repo, multiple folders. You usually have something like a main app or a container app, which is a centralized location for your maybe shared dependencies or something like that, or shared internal toolings or something. You can have different folders for your different applications. For your different UIs, for different routes. For example, one of these apps represents homepage, one represents search. If you have something highly reusable, you can also make packages out of it, like your UI library, for example, or any other thing. And then you can even publish it as an NPM package and use it in other places. And if you have other shared packages that are very reusable, and I like to think in this case that they have a little bit more logic to them, business logic to them, than just something that's very dumb like a UI component button or something. You can use powerful Nuxt layers. And there's a lot you can do with them. For example, think of a header that the header repeats on all the pages, and ideally for the user, it works the same. And inside the header, you have a login button, or you want to show the username if they're logged in. So you call some APIs, or you use some storage or something, and then you check for some name or something. So there is some logic to it, more than just a basic UI component, like a button or something. Because everything is inside one repository, code sharing is very easy. You can access everything, and we like that. That's very good. Dependency management is easy to handle because everything is very flat. And you probably have a centralized, maybe node module or something that dictates, or that takes care of your version management. So it's very easy. You don't have difficulty managing your different versions. Managing your CI/CD pipelines to build and deploy is very straightforward because you probably just do it once, and then you can just, the build runs once, and then you can deploy per different app, or you can import everything into your container app and deploy that one. So it's very straightforward. It might take longer, but you just do it once, and it's very straightforward and easy. But because everything is inside one repository, it might be more difficult to manage the projects with bigger teams or with multiple teams. So it's maybe more suitable for smaller teams. And because of the single build that I mentioned above, it might take longer for the build to finish until you can deploy whatever you want. But it's not usually an issue because there is a lot of options to optimize your build and to cache, for example. There is many options and tools out there. So you just have to be smart with your choices. And that's how you might handle something that's something like a very flat monorepo architecture. I'm saying flat because you can still go nested, more folders into each other, but it could be something, this example could be something like a basic monorepo structure. Having said that, let's see how it works with a multi-repo structure. A multi-repo is better, of course, for organization with bigger teams, or if you have teams or boundaries that they need to be isolated from each other. How it goes that is that the boundaries are fully decoupled from each other. Each micro-frontend is in isolation from the other one. So imagine, it could be different things, but I'm going to say each of these is a Nuxt app because I want to talk about Nuxt in a second and give some examples with Nuxt. So imagine each of these could be a Nuxt app. You have a Nuxt app for your container. You have a Nuxt app for your different micro-frontends. They are fully decoupled from each other, and the boundaries are very clear. There are many options to track your progress between the different applications that you have. You can use semantic versioning, you can use different tools. It's not usually a big issue. It's actually good to do that because you need to make sure that everything is compatible. The CI/CD pipelines are per app and very specific. It means that you don't have to finish for the big build to finish first before you can deploy. You don't have to wait for all the tests to pass because now everything is very specific. It means you might have to repeat the pipelines a few times, but it's fast because it's very small and specific. And it means, because they are isolated, I keep repeating that, it's easier to grow, and the teams to grow, the business to grow, and to scale, because based on the app usage, because you can use different frameworks if you want. One team can use Vue, one could use React, one could use Vue 2, one could use Vue 3. You don't have to wait for each other. You can do them one in time. It's very good, like the example that Juan mentioned before about like a monster PR to change from Vue, to migrate from Vue 2 to Vue 3. In this case, well, actually we tried that because this is actually the structure we have in our project with millions of users, many developers, thousands of lines of code. And some of these applications took a week, some took 2 years, but we didn't have to wait for everything to happen at the same time. We did them one at a time. Because of the nature of the structure and each project being totally separated from the other one, it's harder to share code. In the monorepo structure, you can just import whatever you want anywhere. Here you cannot, of course. It's a bit more difficult. You have options, of course. You can use, if you want a component from one of these apps in the other one, you can maybe publish it as an NPM package and then install it in the other application and use it there. So there are ways, but it's just not as easy and straightforward as you might see in a monorepo. It also means that cross-repo changes might be more slow or more difficult. Imagine, for example, you need to change a component or API or something in one of the applications, and actually in multiple of the applications, it takes a longer time because you have to repeat it in multiple instances. Also, dependency hell if you don't manage it well. I think dependency also, Juan talked a lot about it. Imagine if you don't manage it well, your dependencies, your different versions, one of the apps uses a different version of your UI library, the other one uses a different version, and then if user goes from one app to the other one, there is inconsistency, and that doesn't look good. Or in the case you have an API, and you have a new version of that, and then you go between different pages, it breaks. It's not good. So you have to again be smart about that. There are tools to do that, but it's just one of the downsides. So then when you think about with yourselves, with your organization, with your capabilities, what structure works better for you, you might think, okay, for example, I want a monorepo, but then what do I want? Do I want, for example, like component level integrations, or do I want each route to have a project of their own? Well, there are different ways to do that. You can integrate your different applications based on route, which each application represents a route. For example, you have a search app which represents /search. Same for the home page, same for the account page. You can also do the component level, like I mentioned, that each micro-frontend provides reusable components. It might be a bit more complex, but it's highly reusable, and it's very, very good. You also have build time integration, where all the applications at build time, they are bundled together and they get shipped off together. It's very performant. It's very good. I think Nuxt Layers does something like that at build time. It's actually very good. I actually like this very much. But there's also runtime integration with each application is isolated from each other, from the other one. At runtime, they get shipped off. And that's actually something that module federation, microservices ideas originally means or does, runtime integration. So there is different ways that depends for you and your teams and how you work with different things. Having said all of that, I want to try, I mention again, to show you some examples. I'm just gonna, let's see, change my screens. Change, yes. I'm gonna say entire screen. It works? It works. Great. Let's do this, and let's do this. Okay, great. Let's do this. So what I want to do, I want to make a monorepo. I see so many eyes, like what's happening? Oh yeah, I'm gonna make it a bit bigger. Thank you, Alex. Big enough? Good. I think so, right? Cool. What I want to do, I want to, wait, actually, I have a folder that I want to do it there. CD, I think MadVue test. Great. I want to make a monorepo. Inside this monorepo, I want to have a bunch of different applications and layers, Nuxt apps and Nuxt Layers, that together they make a project. So let's try to do that. I'm going to start with making the root of my application, which I'm going to say, let's call it MadVue Nuxt multi-frontend. Not multi-frontend. What's my topic about? Micro-frontend, yes. Yes, I'm going to go into that. MadVue, great. I'm just going to do npm init y to initiate a node package, a node project, and then let's open it. Let's see what we have. I'm gonna zoom in a bit. Still visible? You can see that? Yeah? Okay, good. What do I have inside this? I just have a basic package JSON with a bunch of stuff that I don't need. So it goes to trash. So now I have the root of my package. I want to do a container app. I have the root of my monorepo. I want to have a container app which would probably host my the shared stuff, shared utils, everything. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to do npx nuxt. I'm going to make a Nuxt app. npx nuxt init apps container. Yes. So it's gonna make a Nuxt app for me. So I want a Nuxt app, I want a container app. I want a search app, which would be my /search. The route, and I want to make a reusable. I see you're concerned. It makes me concerned. I'm like, oh, he's like, oh, you're not gonna do that. Then I want to do a reusable header that's going to be shared between my different routes. So let's try. Whoa. So let's try. Great. Do I want Git repository? No, I'm not tracking anything. It's just test. No modules. Perfect. What do I have? I have an app, a container app. Just gonna change the name here because it's gonna make all the names Nuxt container app. Otherwise, I would have some errors. Let's see. I'm not a fan of this. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna make a page. Let's say page. It's pages, right? Or pages. Yeah. Index.view. It's gonna be just a basic template. Say hi. Oh, no. Div, hi, actually, hola. Madrid, I mean, we're here, right? Why not? Let's see what we have. I mean, so far we didn't do anything, right? I'm just gonna go, wait, let's keep it here. I'm gonna make a new one. And zoom in a bit. I'm gonna go inside that. What do I have? I have apps, container. I'm gonna do npm install, because why not? And then npm run dev. I should have a basic Nuxt app running here. Let's try. Let's see. Hola Madrid, right? We didn't do anything so far. Then I want to make my reusable header component, right? It's a Nuxt layer. And imagine in your header you probably have some API calls for some, I don't know, whatever, if user is authenticated or not, to get some name, some avatar or something. So let's make a Nuxt layer for the header. I'm gonna make a new Nuxt application, npx nuxt init. It's gonna be a layer, so layers header. It's going to make a Nuxt application. Let's go with npm. You see it's already, let's see what we have here. We have layers, and it's making a header, which is good. It's going to take a minute. Do I want Git repository? No. Modules? No. Good. What do I have? I have a header layer inside which I don't need the app. I don't have any pages here. I'm going to make, let's see, I'm going to make a component. So components and then header.vue. Template, let's just do a simple div. It's just for test. I'm going to shout header because it's all capital, so it's shouting. Nuxt app. I'm going to change its name, otherwise I would have multiple same names. Nuxt app, let's say layer header. Cool. So far I didn't do anything, right? I just have this Nuxt config. I'm not touching it with anything. I have just a component. I want to use this component in my container app, which I had the Hola Madrid, right? For me to be able to use it, I need to extend my Nuxt config to know that, hey, I want to use the components, I want to use what's happening inside this, in this project, in this application. Otherwise, it doesn't know I want to use it. So I go inside my Nuxt config. I'll just say, hey, please extend this for me and use layers header. If I go to my index file and I just say header, I have my header. Still, we haven't done that much, right? It's just, I mean, whoa, wait for it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What happened? There it is. Yeah. Okay, so wait, there's more coming. So far we haven't done anything. I just made a Nuxt app and a layer. I extended the layer inside my Nuxt app and showing it there, right? Now, what I want to do is that I want to make a search app, which I want it to be my /search. Let's see. We'll see about that. Cool. I'm here. I'm in the root of my monorepo, right? I'm going to do npx nuxi init. Let's do apps. Let's do search. It's going to make a Nuxt app for me. Yes, go with npm. Let's see what happens. So now I should have two apps, right? I have a container, which was the centralized location, and I have my search. Git repository, no. Modules, no. Muchas gracias. I'm going to change the name. No, inside my package.json, I'm going to change the name to Nuxt search app. Ooh, search app. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to go inside my Nuxt config, and I'm going to, no, let's not do that. Let's do something else. So inside my, let me show you the stuff, the good stuff. So this is the root of my application. It's running at, do you see it is big enough? Localhost 3000. If I go to /search, I want to see the search app, the one that I just made. Well, let's actually just add something to it. You know, I'm just going to add search. Ooh, search, right? I want to be able to see the search. So I need to tell my container app, hey, I want you to know if the user goes to, like, I want you to know this route, which is a separate application. How to do that? Now, that's the difficulty of it, and that's what I wanted to show you. There are different ways to do that. You could have a wrapper file around your search app, which is kind of like an iframe, which I don't like that much, so I'm not going to do that. You could have route middlewares and just say inside, and then like use a search route inside your container, which is a valid option, but it sounds a bit too much for this example, or a simple example. So again, I don't want to do that, but it's a good option. A lot of applications actually do that. I don't want to go there, but it's a good option. You can add route middleware or something like that. I can use Netlify proxy to say, hey, I want to use this route for this route. But then again, it sounds a bit too much configuration for me. So what I can do is that I can make a Nuxt layer. I can make a Nuxt layer that encapsulates the whole /search route. As easy as that. The good thing is that it is still a separate folder, meaning that different teams can work on it. So there is isolation still, like the teams can be independent. One team can be inside the layer search. One team can work on app container. Different teams can work on that. The other good thing is that I did not add any external tools or dependencies or anything. It's all native to Nuxt. Because if I don't want to use this Nuxt layer thing, the thing is Nuxt does not support, as for now, clear extension of routes between different apps. So I can use like router middleware or whatever, or I could just use Nuxt app, and I'm native to Nuxt. I didn't do anything else. Let's give it a try and see what I mean by that. So what I said is that I want to make a Nuxt app. I want to, instead of a full Nuxt app, a separate Nuxt app, I want to make a Nuxt layer. npx nuxi init layer, layers, search. Let's see what happens. It's gonna make a application for me. I have this one while it's doing that. So I don't want to use the search as an app here inside my apps folder. So I'll say goodbye to it. Instead, I'll have a layer search. Installing dependencies, taking its time, but we'll get there. Git repository, no, thank you very much. Modules, no, great. What do I have? I have a layer search. Inside my layer search, I'm just gonna say Nuxt app layer search, just to have clear distinctions for myself and for my application when I run it. And I'm gonna make a new page and say it's gonna be pages search.vue. Let's say it's a of course template, and say div search. Cool. For me to be able to, for my application, for my container application, because that's what I'm running on localhost, right? To know that I'm using this is my search route, this is the components, this is what I want the user to see for my search app. Again, like the header layer, I need to extend it in the Nuxt configs of my container. So I come here and I say, hey, also please extend to layer search. And then Nuxt knows, or this like container app knows that the whole search route is going to be represented by this. Want to see if it works? What happens? Okay, still there. Great. So this is our route. I'm going to go to search. Search. I did not even have to go to my layer search and define in my Nuxt config that, for example, hey, app, this is going to be base URL search. I did not even have to do this. Nuxt knows it. That's the power of Nuxt Layers. It's that good, guys, I'm telling you. It's as easy as that. If I wanted to deploy it separately or ship it off separately or run it independently, which I don't think I can do it here, I maybe had to do this. But I don't even have to do this. I just extend this layer. I just extend it in my container app, and then it works. But we also made a header component that we wanted it to be reused throughout all our routes. Another good thing is that layers can also extend on other layers. So let's see what I mean. I'm going to go inside my layer search, and it's Nuxt config. I'm going to say, hey, you're a layer, but also please extend on header. Also, you see, because it's monorepo, all the imports are so easy. Did not have to install anything. Just, hey, it's located there, so use it from there. So now my layer search is extended to also use layer header. I'm going to go to my page, my search page. I'm just going to say, hey, you know there was a header component, right? Header. So now, yes, my main page, my routes, my home page, which was Hola Madrid, has a header. Also search has a header. They look the same. If I want to change something in the header, I just go to that layer and change the header, and it changes everywhere, as easy as that. We make that. I wanted to show something else, but we don't have enough time, so I'm going to go to my slides to wrap it up. Let's see. How do I change my screens again? Wait. So small here. Oh yeah, screen mirroring. Wait, how does it work? Change. Great. You're seeing it? Good. Extend it. Perfect. Then I'm going to, oh yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay, great. So, come back. Yes, great. That was an example of a monorepo, and it could be done as easy as that. In reality, you might want a hybrid situation, right? A hybrid structure. You might want a centralized monorepo for your shared dependencies, your shared components, library, your internal tooling, whatever. But you might also want some external, let's say, a multi-repo structure for your other packages, projects, that you can pull in from the centralized monorepo inside that separate apps, external micro-frontends that you built, and just use everything. And it means that while the centralized monorepo with your host application is being developed, being extended, being worked on, each team can also work separately on their domain in the external micro-frontend. If they need to update it to Vue 3, if they need to do anything else with it, they can do it at their own time. And this means that the application with code application reduces and efficiency increases, and that's very good. That's about everything I wanted to talk about. I love to connect. On this side, is my right? Yes, and this QR code, you'll find me on social media, on Twitter, on X, on Blue Sky, on LinkedIn, anywhere. I love to connect. If you have any questions, if there's anything you want to know, we can discuss it there. On the other side, if you want to challenge yourself to see how your Nuxt level is, we have different material, courses, boot camps, certifications for mid-year and senior levels that was made in collaboration with experts like Daniel Rowe, Sebastian Chopin, a lot of different people. Over my time, enjoy lunch. Thank you.